Kaban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Kaban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.kaban.co.za for more information. Kaban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality.
It's like, hey, got it. Was really
1981.
You're listening to RTL SA. I want to be on lockdown with Noel Johnson.
You are listening to.
You're listening to.
You're listening to.
You're listening to Noel Johnson. Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson.
And you're listening to Noel Johnson.
And you're going to party it up listening to Noel Johnson.
As I was saying, you're listening to my mate, Noel Johnson.
You're listening to RTL SA.
Digital media is something that's become very big over the last, I'd say, decade or so, maybe a bit longer. But my guest today, joining me from Cape Town, Ingrid, has started a little radio station a little while back that has become quite big. And joining me on the show today, Ingrid, welcome to it, and thank you so much for making the time to join me.
I have to tell you, I'm probably more excited than you are. What an amazing experience this visual radio is.
I know, it's incredible, hey? It's something that happened by accident.
Aren't the best things in the world, didn't they all happen by accident? Look, I'm here. I was an accident.
Exactly. But your accident has started bearing fruit now as we're going. You sent me a message on Friday and you said to me, you told me something about your numbers and where you're sitting in the world at the moment. Care to share?
You know what? Let me just backtrack a little bit. It got to Wednesday afternoon and I felt that the four walls in my studio were closing in on me. And I just thought, why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this? I must be mad to do this. And I actually shut my office. I said to the team, go on, you just do what you need to do today. And I'm out of here. I'm taking a couple of days. And then that evening, I got notification that the global rankings have come out. And yes, there are lots of online radio stations, but Eba's radio is quite specific because currently we're the only dedicated business radio station, online station in South Africa and in Africa. And then to come out in the rankings and to be sitting at number 18 globally out of 138 stations is remarkable when you think that you competing, for lack of a better word, with stations like Bloomberg and, CNN live stream. And it's just like, oh, well, there we go. Now I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Don't you just hate it when that happens?
I do, really. Don't they understand that I need some time out as well?
Exactly.
I like to take Fridays off, and I think this is probably why I've survived digital radio, because man, is it a ride. I take Fridays off and I learn something new, something that I've never done before. And I've learned quite amazing things. I learned how to fix my own tumble dryer. Who knew it only has 3 movable parts?
Oh, wow.
Cost me 47 Rand to buy 3 new parts, but then it cost me a lot of backwards and forwards on a YouTube clip. And plasters all over my hands to figure it out. But she's my 22-year-old tumble dryer is brand new again.
Do you rely on YouTube like I do? I literally learned to design websites, and I've learned to do a lot of things just by YouTube tutorials and stuff like that.
I love YouTube, and I've got a 15-year-old who'll come to me and she'll go, how do I do this? Then I go, have you gone to the professor? And she goes, okay, I'll go to YouTube, because you're going to find it there. We live in this information age where it's available, and find someone that you connect with in terms of voice and visual, and watch their stuff. I have a 1976 Beetle as my everyday car.
Oh, wow.
And I've learned everything about this Beetle that I needed to through YouTube. I mean, again, it was difficult. I recently changed the tie rods on the front of my Beetle. I didn't even know what tie rods were, but it was on the list from the mechanic. You need this. And then I did some research, found it, and thought, well, it doesn't look that difficult. Okay, it was difficult. I have to say it was difficult, because I don't have the most patience in the world. But I got it sorted out, and then, I get so excited to drive this car because I've done the stuff.
My biggest problem though is something like that. And when I was still married, my ex was very much, we need to be hands-on in the house, and instead of getting a plumber in to do the job, we need to do it ourselves. And I admired her for wanting to do that, but this is where I had the issue. Yes, YouTube could sort me out and hook me up and tell me exactly how to change the internals of a toilet, but if you do not have the tools, a 15-minute job takes you 3 days.
Not only that, there's a simple thing that says, oh, I'm going to change the washer on my tap because it's dripping.
Yeah.
Found this video, watched it, went and got the little rubber, it fitted, I knew it was the right size. What the video didn't say, and should have said, was switch the frickin' water off. So what was going to be a simple job and a little rubber that cost a few cents turned into a huge expense, because I managed to flood the place. So I firmly believe if it's not something that you want to do and you can do, pay a professional. Really pay a professional.
Oh, man, I totally agree. So you're in Cape Town. What's the mother city like at the moment?
I think it's actually schizophrenic, because yesterday and today it cannot make up its mind if it wants to be winter, summer, spring, or autumn.
I think it's like that.
1 minute the sun is shining.
It's like that across the country at the moment.
Yeah, the sun is shining. I'm very fortunate. I live literally very close to the beach, so I can see the sun shining out there. But over my little block, it's raining. And if I drive 5 minutes away from my house, the sun is shining, and then another 5 minutes, the wind is blowing. It's like
absolute chaos. The DA runs the Western Cape, and there's been a lot of drama in the last few days or so regarding municipal elections. What's it like on the ground there at the moment? Because the DA sort of had a big victory on the weekend when the IEC's bid was dismissed by the Constitutional Court. What's the news running around in Cape Town around that at the moment? Because I'm pretty sure that the DA are making a lot of noise about it.
Whether it's the DA or any other political party, they are all masters at talking the biggest load of crap and making the most noise. And when it's required that you actually roll up your sleeves and do the work, there's no one there, unavailable. I try to pay zero attention to politics.
Okay.
My philosophy is very, very simple. I'm not going to bitch and complain about anything. I am part of that problem, and if there's litter lying around, I will pick it up. And if the canal down the road is blocked because the plastic has bunged up the thing, instead of complaining on Facebook or social media or whatever platform, take a black bag, go down there, get your hands dirty, pick up the litter. It's your litter. Hello. Yeah, I try not to.
Not to worry yourself too much about it.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm desperate for some entertainment, then what I will do is put on a news channel, and just be entertained, because it's like the soapy would be called The Waltz of the Idiots, because one's a big idiot than the next, and it's like really an intimate show, because you spend those few minutes looking up someone's nostril, or they have a weird light at the back of the head. So and my kids say, whatever you do, please do not talk politics to anybody, because my philosophy. I have a lovely word for politicians. I call them all twattermapusses.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Well, I'm in agreement with you, because I think that's probably the most stupid profession in the world anyway, because it doesn't make any sense, and they don't make any sense. I want to talk to you a little bit about online broadcasting and that, but I first want to just keep on bantering it a little bit. Have you had the vaccine? What are your thoughts on it?
I have had vaccine. In fact, I've had my second one, so I'm completely vaccinated. I must say I was a little bit disappointed, because my 5G signal is still crappy. I really thought I was going to grow a unicorn horn and would hire myself out for children's parties. You know what? We all got vaccinated as kids. We get the flu vaccine, and we take all sorts of things. What do you have to lose? Getting a vaccine is certainly easier than being on a ventilator. So
Yeah.
I decided I'll get the vaccine. I quite liked the experience. I met amazing people. I did some amazing interviews while I was standing in the queue. It's amazing, when you're in this world, because cell phones today are so smart, and the recording devices are so brilliant, that you literally can do an interview with someone live in a queue, and you can broadcast it. So that was an amazing experience.
What do you think about guys that don't want to vaccinate? And the reasons, obviously the reasons are varied, from the fact that they don't know what's in it, to the fact that they think they're going to get microchipped. What would you say to people like that?
I don't know. I think they all suffer from a very severe virus. It's called the ID10T virus. And for those people who are not very, very sharp, or write it down, ID10T. It's called idiot. We go to restaurants and we eat food, and we have no idea how it's been prepared. We drink drinks that we have no idea how it's made. We all carry smart devices with us. Why do you need a microchip? Your phone's tracking every movement you make. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. But then do me a favor, can you please stay at home?
Do you support the pro-choice thing, or do you think that the vaccine should be mandatory?
You know what? It's very difficult. I think everybody should have freedom of choice. That's just my personal philosophy. It makes it very difficult. I understand both sides. I really, really do. But how do you police this? Because where does that line stop? Okay, and I know it's very different, because then we're going to start looking at things. Well, you can only have one child. Men who have more than 2 children, it should be mandatory that they get, what's that little snippy called?
The snip. Vasectomy.
It's going to be difficult, but certainly we're already seeing how difficult it is. If you're not vaccinated and you like to travel, well, you ain't going to go anywhere other than within your own borders, which is maybe not a bad thing. But, it's going to make it difficult to travel. We all have family and friends. Well, most of us have family and friends overseas, and you want to be able to see them. And, unless you have your little vaccination passport, you're not going to be able to travel for a while. You know what? We've all had the smallpox vaccination. Do you know anybody who's had smallpox?
No, but I believe you can still get it regardless, even if you've been vaccinated.
Even if you've been vaccinated against COVID, you can still get it. It'll just reduce the risk of landing up in hospital. And we all know what our healthcare system's like, So I would rather take my chances with a vaccine than with the hospital system.
I totally agree with you, and I've had my vaccine, so I'm fully vaccinated myself, and I'm a big supporter of getting the vaccine. Online broadcasting. You've been touted as a pioneer of online radio. Where did it all begin for you? How did it begin? What was the thought process when did you wake up one morning and say, "Hey, let's start an online radio show," or was it something that you built into and had a goal and set that goal, or how did it start?
Let's go back 12 years. 12 years ago, there was no such thing as online radio.
Yeah.
Okay, it just didn't exist, and there was the odd thing called a podcast. And I was fortunate. I've had my own communications and marketing agency for 28 years. And I just saw the way that communication was changing and how smartphones was changing that. And our phones were becoming first screen. And I kept telling all the agencies that I worked with and my clients that this is becoming first screen. And they laughed at me and they went, "Oh, Ingrid, really, you're really out there with the fairies." I went over to the States. I went to Las Vegas for the International Technology Show, which is like on another planet. So if you like technology and you love gadgets, this is it's like going to heaven. And it's kilometers and kilometers and kilometers of exhibition. And I think on the second day, right at the back, was this little stand, wasn't terribly well branded, and there were these two guys who had headphones on and they were chatting to each other, and they were just like having the best time. And I thought, what are they doing? And I sat down and I introduced myself and I said, "What are you guys doing?" And they said, "Oh, well, we creating podcasts and you can stream it online and people can listen to you live online." It's like, no shit, Sherlock.
Wow.
And I came back and I just thought, this is going to be the future. It's going to be huge. And how can I figure out how to do this? And I got in contact with them and they had started this company and the technology at that stage with the equipment to be able to do it. Remember, now things have changed massively in all these years. We didn't have all the things that we have today. And Rhonda, they said, "You know what, set up a station with all the costs and the equipment and the training and the software and all of these things, we're looking about $500,000 US.
Sure.
And I lifted up my mattress and went, "Nope, don't have it." And just kind of parked it for the moment because I just knew that there had to be a way to do this. Long story short, I met a young man at a computer shop in Johannesburg. A couple of months later, those little nerdy kids with the really thick glasses who have zero social skills. And I popped in because my laptop was giving me problems. And he was busy listening to what sounded like a church service. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "No, Auntie." He says, "On Sundays, I record the service and then I edit it and then I burn it onto DVDs and then I go around the neighborhood on my bicycle and I drop it off for all the old people because they know how DVD players work." See how we're dating ourselves. And they listen to church services. And I spoke to him about this whole concept of online radio and, well, how's it going to work? And I said, "Come on, can you come up with a solution?" And he said, "I don't know, but I'll try." I said, "Well, you try, I'll pay you for the solution." Long story short, fast forward, now the company is called Net Dynamics, and Chris Grant, who was there before anybody had heard of it in this country, and we worked out a system, and he said, "Okay, Auntie, you can broadcast live." And I thought, okay, well, that's great, but what I'm going to talk about? And then I just remembered what it was like being a young entrepreneur. The only way I could get any assistance was to go, I don't know what it's called today, was the Small Business Bureau or the Chamber of Commerce Business, whatever it was. And off I went to go ask them about this thing. And they were clueless. They'd never been entrepreneurs. They were employed and said, oh, well, you can do this. And I'm going, well, have you done this? No, they haven't. And it's like, well, you can't help me. Went to my bank manager and he said, well, Ingrid, I can give you a loan, but you'd have to get someone to stand surety for you. And I'm going, no, I don't want to do that either. And then I realized actually to be an entrepreneur in this country is flipping hard. So what can I do to help other younger people, even not younger people, to navigate this in a place where they could go to for free, because we don't all have money to go and do a course on marketing and a this and a digital course and a social media course. How do I put all this in one place, and how do I get amazing people to share what they know with everybody else? And I'd worked with Arthur Goldstuck. We're both journalists and our paths have crossed for many, many years. And I know that Arthur, whilst he's a business journalist, his passion, man, the guy loves gadgets and he loves technology. So I phoned him and I said, Arthur, I want to do this thing called online radio and I want you to be my first guest. And he said, well, how are we going to do this? And I explained it to him and he said, whoa, that's pretty cool. He says, I don't know what I'm going to say, but yeah, let's do this. And Arthur Goldstuck was my very first guest. Sure. I was going to create this business radio station, and whatever we did, we were going to record and edit and then share as a podcast afterwards for free. Well, what are we going to call this? And, in South Africa, I love the colloquialisms that we all have. So it's quite an African thing where it's like, e-pen, e-taxi. So I thought, okay, I'll call it e-buzz radio. My kids thought it was so freaking lame. Who wants to listen to a station called e-buzz radio? And my family just laughed at me as well. They thought I'd lost the plot. And I started broadcasting from my dining room table with Arthur Goldstuck. We did it via Skype. And all this stuff was new. I mean, no one had heard of doing this stuff. And we had a conversation. It was me and my dogs and Arthur sitting in his office. And literally, it grew from there. It just grew. I've never, ever spent a single cent on marketing or advertising. It literally grew by word of mouth. And that was 10 years ago. And here we are today where we're averaging about sometimes just over, sometimes just under 1 million unique IP addresses that connect with us on a monthly basis. Average streaming time is 42 minutes. Now, for someone to connect to a station and listen to it for 42 minutes tells you, flip, the content must be awesome.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
also because I'm focused specifically on the business market. And particularly right now, and we saw a massive growth at the beginning of lockdown because now we all have to work at home. Well, who the fuck knew how to work from home?
Exactly.
How are we going to do this? And then suddenly, our inbox, our WhatsApp, and all our feeds were just flooded going, how do we do this? And so we started having conversations with people and going, well, how do you do this? You have to look at your internet speed. You have to look at, what do you need at home? What are the requirements from you? What about security? What about, now you've brought equipment home from work, it's the work's laptop, and think, well, if my house gets broken into, who's responsible for it? Who must pay for it? And we've just had the most incredible conversations. And we've all kind of learned and grown and shared together. Our downloads on whatever topic are through the roof. And there were occasions sort of like 3 months into the very first lockdown, I actually thought, okay, today is the day we're going to break these servers. Because the traffic was just coming in, and very fortunate that our that our servers sit in Germany, and because the station has just continued to grow, Net Dynamics have set up that as soon as they can see one server's reaching capacity, it automatically switches to the next, to the next, to the next. So we never have downtime. When Eskom decide that we've been naughty and they switch off the power, we can still broadcast because we're not reliant on power in South Africa, which is sad because such an awesome country and such amazing things happening here, and yet they're just like a few sectors that just Ugapi.
What do you think is the secret? You were talking about the content and, you know, average watch time and things like that. What is the key to creating good content, in your opinion?
In my opinion, would be just be real, be authentic. No one wants to listen to some twat sounding like they've got hot potatoes in their mouth. The word of mouth is incredibly powerful. If you just look at your own circle. So your best mate says to you, "Jeez, Noel, this is amazing." And you go, "Well, why is it amazing?" "Oh, I really like the taste and I like the way that this thing screws off." And you go, "Okay, well, I'm going to try it." And then you go to the shop and you get one for yourself and you try it and you go, "Look, they're right." So you tell 12 other people. And that's exactly the same with content. It's got to resonate with someone. I mean, like, how long is a piece of string? So I'm not a lifestyle station. So I focus primarily on business and the world of business. Now, it is massive. What does business entail? It entails people and human interaction and communication, but it also their legal requirements, their financial requirements. What does the law say? What does Papia want me to do? What is the latest technology? Oh, shit, I need to buy a new vehicle for the business. What's the best vehicle out there? So catering specifically for people in the business sector wanting to go into business on everyday things that you need in business. And the library's there. It's free. All we ask is, if you enjoyed the conversation, share it. And that is the power of word of mouth, but also the power of connection. You know, we have not spent in 10 years, we're going to be 10 years next month, have not spent a single cent on branding or marketing. It has all been word of mouth and just sharing.
And that's from creating engaging content. Speak about engaging. You did send me the answer for the Power Play trivia question. And I'm glad to say that you got it right. So we're going to handle the Power Play trivia question in just a second, and I want you to give us the answer. Are you keen for that?
Yes. Is it a new question or the same question?
Same question, but hold that thought. I've got to play my sting first.
Okay, okay, brilliant.
Time to test your knowledge with Power Play Trivia.
Right, the Power Play trivia question was brought to you by Bev Miller today. What actress won her first Oscar for Kramer versus Kramer? And I got correct answers from Janine, Cheryl, Lauren, Bev, Sarah, and Zelda, as well as you, Ingrid. What is that correct answer?
It was a lucky guess, and you've told me you've confirmed it was correct. Meryl Streep.
Meryl
So
Streep.
when it comes to a female actress, no matter what the category is, you're always fairly safe game with Meryl Streep.
Well, Meryl Streep was absolutely correct. He has a little motivational video for that.
The nominees for the outstanding performance by an actress in a supporting role are Jane Alexander in Kramer versus Kramer,
Barbara Barry in Breaking Away,
Candice Bergen in Starting Over,
Mariel Hemingway in Manhattan,
and Meryl Streep in Kramer versus Kramer.
and the winner is...
Thank you, my dear.
Welcome, my dear.
Meryl Streep in Kramer versus Kramer.
Holy mackerel. I'd like to thank Dustin Hoffman and Robert Benton, to whom I owe this. Stanley Jaffe for giving me the chance to play Joanna. And Jane, Alexander, and Justin for the love and support during this very, very delightful experience. Thank you very much.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Caban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.caban.co.za for more information. Caban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning Top Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top three.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za. It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
It's like, hey, got it. It's really
1981.
You're listening to RTL SA. You're listening to RTL SA.
And we continue with Monday Madness, and my guest on the show today, the owner and founder of eBiz Radio, Ingrid. You say you don't really get too involved in politics, but there was a massive political move this weekend that we cannot deny and not even brush under the carpet. Jacob Zuma getting medical parole. Firstly, were you surprised?
Hell no. I won the family lottery. It was, you know what? It's really, really sad because what happens in this country is there is no justice. There really isn't. They're little pockets, but on the whole, there's not. You can get away if you have enough money and you have a legal team that you can throw money at. No one's going to jail. It's just sad. And what are we saying to the young people in this country? We're saying to them, it's okay to steal. It's okay to lie. It's okay to take from those who have nothing, but we're still going to take the little that they do have. It's, I do. And I can get quite emotional about this. It's really cry this beloved country because I love this country. This is my home. And to see what is happening And that's why, you know, the time of politicians and political parties, really, can we not get past this? We are amazing human beings in this country. If you want something done, does the government do anything for you? No. So if you want something done, decide, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get like-minded people with me, and we're going to do this. They only have power if you vote them in. So my dream is, you know, there was that song, I think it was Pink Floyd, no, wait. When two countries go to war and nobody pitches up for the war, who was that?
Isn't that John Lennon? No.
I don't know. It was like this thing, and these countries were all called to war, nobody pitched. What I would love to see, and it's like a reoccurring dream, but for me it's so real, and I keep sharing it with everybody because maybe we can just spread this. It's election day, and nobody turns up.
At the polls.
Just don't pitch. Because then we've spoken. We've spoken. The South African people, you can see it. There's much more of this happening where we're standing up and going, actually, not acceptable. No. And if it means I'm not going to pay tax, I'm not paying tax. What are you going to put me in jail? Where are you going to put me? They're full.
Do you think?
You know.
Do you think us as South Africans are too fickle? Do you think that we are? You know, we have our communities that sort of stick together, but as a nation, overall, we don't really stand together.
No, because it's the, you know, I'm going to look at this now I'm going to step back and I'm going to look at it from a communications strategist perspective. Okay. The best way to cause chaos is to divide people. So you say this to this group of people and you say that to that group of people. And then you say they said it and then you say they said it. So what happens is people are also inherently lazy, so they don't like to check. Actually, is this real? I mean, if you just go back a little bit, look at the whole Bell Pottinger thing, how they managed to manipulate the conversation into this whole thing of white monopoly capital. And certain political parties pushed that agenda. Of course, they pushed that agenda because they hired a communication strategist to create the havoc, to push it out. And instead of us going, actually, no. You know, I love South Africa, and South Africans always a boer kan lekker plan maak. We can make a plan here. But we're also quite flippin' lazy. You know, we all sit there and we bitch and we moan and we whine. Actually get up and do something. You know, and if 55 million people get up and go, actually, bye-bye now, go home. We're not listening to you, you know.
But this is why...
Look what happened. Yeah, sorry.
No, this is exactly why what happened with the IEC's bid being denied by the Constitutional Court on Friday. Why it's so significant, because the ANC, as the ruling party, failed to submit 94, I think, applicants for municipal elections, which means that based on this bid, those application or the ANC will not have representation in those municipalities. And I don't know, I think maybe it's a lucky but good move for South Africa to actually have no ANC representation in certain municipalities, and 94 of them, as a matter of fact. Yeah, and I think that maybe that will create a little bit of synergy from the opposition, so to say, to actually make a difference in those communities.
I don't know. You keep wanting to draw me into this political conversation. and some of the words I can't use because, you know, I would like to see, I would like to see candidates standing in the election that are not party representative, that they are actual individuals who agree to be a public servant and are not paid for it.
Sort of like an independent stand.
Absolutely. You will then go and vote for the person that you believe in your area actually has been working, is working, and will continue to work with you and for you. You know, not people who are political or professional political people. I mean, they're a couple of culprits, and we've seen them. Then they're wearing that color, whoops, and then they're wearing that color, then they're wearing that color. And at the end of the day, it's not about doing what's right and standing up and being the voice. It's about, well, you offering me more money, you offering me more money. And that's always been a rule of mine. I'm one of the few people in this country who specialize in crisis communication. Unless you are a politician or a political party, I will not work with you. Sorry, end of story. I don't care what you offer me. I don't care how much you threaten me. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Because I like to work. You will sit in front of that camera and you will tell the truth. You know, I'm not going to lie for you, and you're not certainly going to sit in front of a camera and lie to people.
Well, we have a burning topic every day of the week, pretty much, which is brought to you by Cheryl and Kirsten Murrigan. And today's topic was Jacob Zuma granted medical parole. Are you surprised? You've already said that you weren't surprised at all. I just want to share a couple of my listeners' opinions as well.
Have your say now. It's the burning topic.
Good morning, burning topic. I'm definitely not surprised that Zuma is going to be on medical parole. I think that was coming. I think that was the next step to avoid him to serve his sentence for contempt in jail. He's just getting special treatments. Nobody seems to have any information on how ill he is or what's going on, and I just feel that the DA have definitely got the right to ask for the minutes of the parole meeting and records to know what's going on. It just doesn't make any sense to me. He's getting special treatment, treated like a king, can have his family around him and just be in the comfort of his own home. Yeah, and we don't even know the true answers of what's going on. I mean, is the normal, civilian treated like that if they've got medical conditions? Do they also get to go home and have medical parole and be treated like that? So just to me, it doesn't make any sense at all. Just shows you what a lot of money can do, hey?
Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Lauren, all the way from PE.
Well, now, did anyone expect anything different from Zuma? It's been proven in the past. All the big names, as soon as they get convicted and have to do jail time, suddenly have a medical condition. Quite honestly, everyone in the frickin' country has a medical condition, and medical conditions can be controlled. So he should be in prison, serving the time, which he deserves, and get his medication in prison. Just because he's a big shot or thinks he's a big shot, he thinks he can get away with it, and he probably will. But from my point of view, you do the crime, serve the time.
Sarah in Durban, thank you so much for that. So there we go, Ingrid. I think everybody agreeing with you on this. And I promise you, I don't normally do big political conversations, but it was just that, this happened over the weekend, and it just was what it was.
Noel, actually, you know what? I'm just looking at the visuals of the promo for this morning show that you put out. And I have a bone to pick with you. This is the second time in my career that I'm on the same page as Jacob Zuma. And the last time, oh man,
sorry about
that. The last time, I know the last time I got bombarded by friends going, "Oh, I thought you don't work in politics. Look, there you are walking with Jacob Zuma." And it's like, no, now I'm on the same thing with Jacob. Look there with Jacob Zuma again.
Oh, Ingrid, I'm so sorry. It wasn't my intention at all. Let's drop the political thing now.
Yes.
In closing, before I let you go, someone that's young, ambitious, hungry, wants to do what you do, how do they go about it in this climate, and what do they need to get it done?
Well, seeing as this is the Monday Madness show, you need to be insane.
Yes.
First, that's prerequisite. You need to be insane. Secondly, you're in the most amazing position in the world because literally the world is your oyster. There's so much stuff available out there. First thing you do, go to Eba's Radio, type in, how do I start an online radio station? How do I create a podcast? There are hundreds of amazing people from all over the world who've shared their insight. Go to YouTube. One thing you need to know is it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes perseverance, it takes agility, and you've got to be able to take criticism and practice. Listen to other people, go, oh, I really like that. I like that tone. What resonates with me? And pick something that you're passionate about. You know, you are passionate about what you do, and it comes across. You can see it in your face, you can see it in your eyes, you can hear it in your voice. Just persevere. You know, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. If this is what you want to do, just do it. Don't think I need to get an internship at a traditional radio station. Darlings, that's so 2018. Like, really, this is the new frontier. And it's an exciting space to be in. And Noel, I have to just tell you, I am unbelievably impressed, and I can't stop smiling. What you do is amazing. I'm looking at it. And I do remember a few years ago, there was another station with a very well-known person who also did visual radio. And the mistake that they made was twofold. One, they were driven by ego. And secondly, they were driven by greed. And the focus was so on those two things that they forgot about the actual execution. And everything, it didn't flow. The video kept getting stuck. What the person was saying didn't link to what was on screen. And again, you had to look at just these two people's faces. I love the way that you have learned and probably taught yourself how to integrate that when you're playing something, a promo live on air, you're actually seeing it. I think you're amazing. I think the station's amazing. And my daughter was quite flabbergasted. She said, well, you're going on to a music and lifestyle show. She says, please, Mama, whatever you do, don't guess the lyrics of a song because you just make up your own stuff.
We all do that. Ingrid, where do you...
When you're having those days and you think to yourself, why am I doing this? Yeah. You're doing it. Can you see that smile on your face and that feeling of amazement? That's why you do it. Absolutely. You can't take money with you when you move to the next place.
Absolutely. What are your plans for Eba's over the next decade or so? Where do you see it going? Where do you want it to go?
Where I want it to go is, so what we've introduced about 6 weeks ago, we introduced some Afrikaans segments. And in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be introducing isiXhosa and Zulu. We have 11 different languages in this country, but I want to focus on doing content exactly as we do in English, the same kind of conversations, but in different languages. Yes, we operate in a business world of predominantly English on this continent. However, it's not everybody's first language. So when you're sharing information and insight and you're doing it in their own mother tongue, it's much easier to understand, to implement, to ask questions in your own language. So those are the plans, and just to continue growing and giving and sharing and mostly having fun.
So make it relevant for the larger audience in the country, which is pretty much the key to successful content. Where can people find you guys?
You and I, or they could find us at the nearest loony bin. If you're interested in online radio or podcasting, you can find us at ebizradio.com. That's ebizradio.com. And you can find us on any streaming platform, we're there. Any podcast platform, we're there. I'm not going to go through the whole list. We all know them. We literally are everywhere. Find us on LinkedIn, find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, Instagram.
ebizradio.com. Ingrid, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for making the time. I know we did speak about this a couple of weeks ago already, and I'm finally glad that we got to do it. And it was absolutely awesome to have you on the show, a fellow broadcaster, and to hear your thoughts and insights into it. And absolutely, I regard you as a pioneer in the industry and look up to what you have achieved, and look forward to having a synergy with you guys going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I think the key to growth and success and sharing is collaboration. And I love working with other people because we all bring different things and we share different things. And that's amazing. And I'm so privileged to have spent the last almost an hour with you. It's like, this is like my learn something new day. And I've learned, well, that's how it operates. That's how it's done when it's done properly.
Well, let me let you in on a little secret here. Normally, this goes on for about 45 minutes, which includes music breaks, and I normally do about 2 music breaks in a 45-minute segment. We've now gone on for 50 minutes already without one music break, so it's been thoroughly engaging and so interesting that we didn't even get to any music.
So still say in Afrikaans, verstaan jy? I mean, really, that's what it's about.
Precies.
And people will listen to this and they'll go, wow, I'm really interested in this. And they will enjoy it and they'll share it. And that's how it works. If you've enjoyed this conversation, share it. Get a hold of Noel, get a hold of me. What is the worst either of us can say is no. And I'm dyslexic, so it actually means on, which is, I have to say, everything's like positive in my world because everything is on. Just have fun, follow your dreams, learn, make mistakes. Hell, it's so much fun making mistakes.
Oh, well, that's the only way to learn. Ingrid, thank you for making the time. Have yourself a beautiful day further, and all the best, man. I look forward to seeing eBiz Radio just grow and grow and grow and grow and own its market space.
Absolutely. You know what they say, from your lips to God's ears. And for the Jewish people out there, I wish you all a Chag Sameach and a Shana Tova. May this new year bring relief for all of us. May it bring work for many people, and may it bring kindness and care to everybody. Have a good day.
There we go. Ingrid von Stein joining us, the owner and founder of eBiz Radio, and you can go visit them at ebiz.com. Great content on the platform, and you can learn so much from that platform just by going, and like Ingrid was saying, if you want to start a radio station, they've got it, and any form of business communication, and it's like really a South African version of YouTube to a certain degree. So pop over to ebiz.com and catch their live content as well as their podcast content as well. Very, very cool stuff indeed. That's where we're going to leave the show for today. I'm going to play out with one song for you, just to say that we did play a song in the second hour of the show. We're back tomorrow for Tuesday Trends, of course, and I look forward to seeing you guys at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Be cool, be safe. Remember what I always say. If it bugs you, baby, you got to deal with it. Playing out with some Haley Steinfeld and Starving for You on RTLSA. Have a great afternoon. Love you long time.
Combine Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders. at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Kaban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.kaban.co.za for more information. Kaban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality.
It's like, hey, got it. It's really
1981.
You're listening to RTL SA.
I want to be on lockdown with Noel Johnson.
You are listening to
You're listening to Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson.
And you're listening to Noel Johnson.
And you're gonna party it up listening to Noel Johnson.
As I was saying, you're listening to my mate, Noel Johnson.
RTL.